You are standing at the edge of everything you have ever known. It is 65,000 years ago. The wind carries the scent of distant lands you have never seen. Behind you is safety, the cave, the tribe, the familiar hunting grounds. In front of you is the unknown, mountains that touch the sky, rivers that rage, forests thick with predators, and a horizon that seems to go on forever. There are no maps, no compasses, no backup plan. One mistake could mean death by starvation, attack, disease, or simply disappearing into the wilderness forever. Yet something inside you, a powerful, restless force, pushes you forward. Your heart races. Your tribe watches in silence. Some think you are brave. Others think you are mad. You take that first step. Why did ancient humans risk everything to explore new lands? Why did they leave the safety of home to walk into the unknown, not knowing if they would ever return? Why did they risk their lives, their families, and everything they had ever known just to see what lay beyond the horizon? This is one of the most profound and inspiring questions in human history. It is the story of courage, curiosity, desperation, hope, and the same restless spirit that later built civilizations, crossed oceans, and sent people to the moon. Today, we are going on that dangerous, awe-inspiring journey with our ancient ancestors. The human urge to explore is ancient. Long before Columbus sailed the ocean blue or Lewis and Clark mapped the American West, our ancestors were doing something even more extraordinary. Starting around 70,000 to 60,000 years ago, small groups of Homo sapiens began leaving Africa. Over the next tens of thousands of years, they spread across the entire planet. They crossed deserts, mountains, ice sheets, and open oceans. They reached Australia, Europe, Asia, and eventually the Americas. This was exploration at its most raw and dangerous. They had no written maps, no compasses, no supply ships, no rescue teams, no idea what lay beyond the next river or mountain range, yet they kept going. Generation after generation, they pushed the boundaries of the known world. Why? What drove them to take such enormous risks when staying put would have been so much safer? The answer is not simple. It was a powerful combination of necessity, curiosity, adventure, social pressure, and something deeper, the same restless human spirit that still drives people today to climb mountains, start businesses, move to new countries, and explore the unknown. The power of survival pressure. During the Ice Age, the climate was unstable. Glacial periods brought extreme cold. Interglacial periods brought warmer weather, but also shifting landscapes. Hunting grounds could disappear as animals migrated or went extinct. Competition between groups for limited resources increased. When food became scarce in one area, exploring new lands was not optional, it was necessary for survival. Groups that stayed put often died out. Those that moved had a chance to find new opportunities, the thrill of discovery, and human curiosity. Humans are wired to explore. Our brains release dopamine when we encounter new things. This reward system encouraged our ancestors to take risks. The unknown was terrifying, but it was also exciting. The same drive that makes modern people climb Everest, sail around the world, or start new businesses was already present 60,000 years ago. The search for better resources. New lands often meant access to better food sources, higher quality stone for tools, better water, or valuable materials like ochre for art and rituals. A single good discovery, a rich river valley full of fish, a herd of large animals, or a cave with natural protection, could sustain a group for generations. Exploration was a high-risk, high-reward strategy. Social status, and the spirit of adventure. Successful explorers gained status within their groups. Bringing back new knowledge, stories, or resources elevated their position. Young men and women especially may have been driven by the desire to prove themselves and find new opportunities. Exploration also helped relieve population pressure within groups. When a band grew too large, some people would split off to form new groups in new territories. The need for meaning and story. Exploration gave life meaning, returning with stories of new lands, strange animals, and incredible challenges, strengthened group identity and passed knowledge to the next generation. Storytelling around the fire was not just entertainment, it was how culture and knowledge were preserved. The journeys were incredibly dangerous. Many groups never made it. They died from starvation, disease, predators, accidents, or conflict with other groups. Yet enough succeeded that humanity eventually inhabited every continent, except Antarctica. This is one of the greatest success stories in the history of life on Earth. Archaeological and genetic evidence shows how remarkable this achievement was. Humans reached Australia at least 65,000 years ago, requiring sophisticated planning and watercraft to cross open ocean. They crossed the Bering Land Bridge into the Americas around 15,000 years ago. They navigated the harsh environments of Siberia, the mountains of Central Asia, and the jungles of Southeast Asia. Each successful migration was a triumph of human adaptability. They learned new plants, new animals, new weather patterns, and new ways of living. They adapted their tools, clothing, and social structures to fit new environments. This flexibility is one of the reasons Homo sapiens outlasted other human species like Neanderthals. This restless spirit is still alive in us today. It is the same drive that pushed American pioneers westward across the continent. It is the same spirit that sent astronauts to the moon and continues to drive scientific discovery. The ancient explorers and modern Americans share the same DNA, the DNA of those who refuse to stay in one place when something better might lie just beyond the horizon. Understanding why our ancestors risked everything to explore helps us understand ourselves. It reminds us that the desire to discover, to push boundaries, to see what lies beyond the next mountain is not a flaw or a modern invention. It is one of the greatest strengths of our species. In a world that sometimes feels small and overexplored, the story of ancient human exploration reminds us that there are still frontiers in science, in technology, in our own lives. The horizon is still calling. The adventure is not over. The next time you feel the urge to try something new, to take a risk, to explore a new idea or place, remember those ancient humans who looked at the horizon and decided to walk toward it. They didn't know what they would find, but they went anyway. And because they did, you are here today. Thank you for joining me on this journey across time and continents. If this story inspired you, please like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more deep explorations of how our ancestors shaped the world we live in today. Share this with someone who has that same restless spirit. The horizon is still calling. The adventure continues.